Up, everybody? Is currently Wednesday, December 10th, 7:20 p.m. I'll be posting this tomorrow morning, so good morning, good evening, or good morning at a therapist out west. Um, who in the morning we had group sessions in the morning. Instead of saying good morning, he would start out by saying good evening, everybody. Um, just to kind of break the norm of conventional um, thinking. Or he's a very spiritual individual. He was the first person who kind of inspired me to look deeper into myself and ask, deeper questions and try to understand things that most people, I don't say don't have the potential, because I truly believe everyone, no matter, you know, what you're labeled as, whether if you have Down syndrome, whether are severely depressed or severely anxious, I feel that everyone has valuable, traits, valuable characteristics that they can bring to improve this world. And actually, I probably mentioned this in a video, but some things just stick with me. Um, like my boss at work, he he was the one who said, "Well, so what's the benefit of pain?" I was like, "I'm not sure. I don't really think there is." Yada yada yada. He's like, "It shows that you're still alive." I'm not saying that, obviously you don't want to be in pain all the time just to show that you're alive, but I just thought that was a good spin on things. I definitely talked about that before. I'm not sure if I talked about this one. There was a football coach who brought in this kid with Down syndrome, and the kid goes at the end of practice, he's like, "Guys, he says, the guys, the only disability is having a bad attitude." And that's just like, wow. That's who knows if he thought of that on his own, or if if he was taught by a therapist or whatever. But just it was just I just thought that it gave me, chills just thinking about, this kid has every right to be disappointed because he doesn't, fit into the norm. But, you know, I actually follow a couple of people that have Down syndrome on social media, and it's the most beautiful, you know, wholesome content. These parents are amazing in terms of how they parent their kids with Down syndrome. They don't really treat them the parents don't treat their kid that has Down syndrome any different than they would treat, I wouldn't say normal, but someone who does not have Down syndrome. And for me, as someone who does, have a looming, medical diagnosis, I don't want to be defined by that. I want to be defined by the things I say and the things that I do. I've been quoted on saying I think action is more important than words, but I think, through our words, we're able to connect with other people. Don't get me wrong, through our actions, we're able to connect with other people as well. But it's kind of like another yin and yang situation. It's kind of like a balance between how much you physically do actively and how much you physically do talking. Um, and it's always going to be a little bit of a seesaw, kind of a thing. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much some of the things I was thinking about today. I was trying to think about things I learned. And my boss today said, "Well, I got another quote for you," and I can't remember what exactly it was, yeah, the exact terms that he used, but he said something that about success and opportunity. There's always opportunity, and that is, that could lead to success, something like that. Um, but yeah, I mean, gonna keep this video short. I'll be posting tomorrow morning. I did actually get my 12,000 steps. I got 13,000, which was good. I made a stop at the grocery store because I'm trying to cut down on spending. Um, Really good mac and cheese for dinner with bacon. I also had a small little pizza. Um, but I've been getting my steps in, so hopefully I'm in the calorie deficit. I want to start working out more. Actually, gonna play golf tomorrow, which should be good. Um, And then yeah, I think some things that I'm still working on are trying to be kind and empathetic and compassionate under all circumstances. I know people might say, "Well, give yourself a break." I like to say, I'm ambitious in the sense that I want to present myself well to every single individual that I come in contact with. Um, and yeah, and just try to live a balanced life. There's this one individual who I look up to, one of my friend's moms, who back in the day says, "Well, you're a very balanced person." And at the time, I didn't really know what that meant, but now I'm kind of understanding more and more. Um, yeah, some other things are, you know, our elders, even though, like I said, we might have a different soul age, if that makes sense. Uh, our elders can teach us, and I've worked with a bunch of retired individuals, and a lot of people might just brush them off or say yada yada yada. Their prime is past. You know, they're what they've done is very good for society, but at the same time, they're not the same anymore. They don't function as quickly. But I don't. I think once again, you got to be teachable. That's what I was telling myself. Because sometimes, I get defensive whenever people say, well, you should be doing this, you shouldn't be doing this, yada, yada, yada. But, you know, there's also a balance between being stubborn and going after your goals. So it's listening to other individuals so that you don't, crash and burn. Um, but that's pretty much all I want to talk about today in terms of what I've learned. Um, yeah, I'll be posting this tomorrow morning, and hopefully I'll be shooting a good score. Next time you guys check out the channel. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Zoom. And once again, our mission is to have a good time all the time. Much love, God bless, and we'll see you tomorrow.